Dude, that is so awesome to hear, man. And like I said, dude, my wife's like, again, when I was in treatment, and my wife's very into that type of stuff. So I've done a lot of vision boards. But yeah, man, to me, it almost felt like this is like a modern day, like gold or platinum.
And this podcast is about you and your journey in music and how you got to where you are now. We'll talk about the new record coming out as well.
Hell yeah, man. Is the quality okay? The reason I was trying over there is there I have like an actual mic and all that. So
it sounds good on this end, to be honest.
I think it sounds good. We're good to go then, man, for sure.
Yeah, I'll do a little fixing in post anyway, so it doesn't matter.
Okay, cool, man. No, where are you at?
I'm in Nashville. I'm originally from San Diego, though. So I moved to Nashville about 8 months ago or so.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah, very new.
I just recorded my album down there in Murfreesboro.
Oh, really?
Town, yeah. So I'm actually going to be back in February and this summer for like a month. So maybe one of these days we could do an in-person or something.
I would love that. I was going to say that would be so cool.
Yeah, I'll be there a few times, so for sure.
Well, I live about 30 minutes west of Murfreesboro.
Okay.
I live south by Franklin.
Okay. Yep. I'm familiar. I got a buddy over there. So, dude, hell yeah, man. That's cool.
Cool.
It's such a small world, bro. I've learned that too, like over the years, like meeting people, like, again, interviews, like whatever it is, like small world. A lot of people like end up knowing each other, especially in the same area. And shit.
Oh yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah,
it's really. I know. It's funny because I didn't know anything about Nashville really before I moved here. I thought it was just like a country town, and then through interviews and stuff, I'm like, wait, you live in Nashville? You live like that's so weird. Like,
yeah,
so
it's
you're cool.
From San Diego, you said.
Yeah, San Diego originally.
Okay, yeah, I lived in Anaheim, about an hour and a half, 2 hours away.
Yeah,
for about a year and a half back in the day, and I go there every year. So.
Oh yeah, home of Disneyland, man.
Yeah, dude, my apartment was literally like a mile from Disneyland. Off like my back like balcony and shit at night, you could see the fireworks every night. So cool, man.
That's rad. That is rad. So cool. Sure. Well, you were born in Indiana originally?
Yep. Okay. Yeah, like right outside of Chicago, and grew up there, till I was like 8, 9 years old, and moved up here to South Dakota with my grandparents. And yeah, man, been kind of all over the place a little bit, but definitely been here in South Dakota for a long time now,
Okay. And you're still there in South Dakota?
Yeah. Well, I have an 8-year-old son that's here. And then I got married. Thank you. I got married a couple years ago, not to his mother, but another, so I got, I got to keep it all around here for now.
Right. A family close, man. I love it. I got 2 kids myself. So,
okay. Yep.
And I did see that you're recently sober, or a year in at least, right?
Almost 11 months now. Next January 5th, next month will be a year for me. So
congratulations, dude. I got 4 years, and I know the struggle, man.
Oh, you got 4?
Yeah, it took a while, but we're here now.
I haven't been drunk in like 3.5 years now, which was like a big start for me. But then, I was drinking a lot, and I ended up in the hospital 3 times with pancreatitis, and I'd be admitted, for a week at a time. And so every time I was like, dude, they would tell me, you got to stop drinking. But in replace of that, I would get prescribed opiates, painkillers.
Oh, yep.
Over and over.
I know the cycle, man.
Dude, and then all of a sudden I'm addicted to fentanyl, like within a year. It was crazy.
Oh my gosh, man. I'm so sorry. And that's been a crazy thing. They're putting it in like everything nowadays.
Dude, when I was in treatment, a guy said he was smoking meth one night, like ended up in the hospital, and they said he overdosed on fentanyl somehow. It's crazy, bro.
Yeah, I've been hearing stories about it being in like people buying cocaine, thinking they're buying cocaine, and it'll be in there. It's like, that doesn't even make sense to me.
Dude, I know, because it's totally opposite. They put them in Xanax. Dude, that's what I was telling someone the other day. Like the fact that they put like that powerful of an opiate / downer in the fucking uppers.
Right. You're like, what is going on here?
Yeah.
Like there's got to be some weird, I don't know what the hell's going on. But
and dude, like when I don't know if like this is I hope, but like I had this hookup, man, this friend, I guess you could call him friend, whatever, like in Arizona, and he like dealt like with one of the cartels down there. So he would get like, I would literally have these drugs mailed to my front door, right in the fucking mail. And dude, I was snorting about 40 of these pressed blue pills a day, going about 500 a week, bro. No joke. After a year building up, that's why the shit, dude, when I ran out a few times, like, dude, the withdrawals would set in. I would tell my wife, oh, I have a headache, and but you know,
Oh
you
yeah.
in and sweat.
Sure.
And then, dude, after a while, I was like, dude, because both my parents are dead from opiates, you know.
Oh my
So
gosh. I
for me
did
to,
see that. Yeah, I saw your mom pass away
yeah,
when you were very young.
yeah. So again, for me to kind of like be, you know, in this spot now, addicted to fentanyl, then looking at my 8-year-old son, it almost just seemed like a total like reverse of my situation, except for I was like the drug addict, you know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
And it was like I just gotta stop. So yeah, man, it was a long journey, but here we are.
Crush the cycle, dude. I love that.
Yeah, man. Dude, that's what my wife always says. She's like, you are the one that has to break the cycle in this family, you know?
It's the most important thing, dude. I mean, because once you stop it, then hopefully
Yeah.
it continues on. But that very cool.
Oh
Congratulations.
yeah, no, I appreciate it, man.
So I want to know, will you moved to? I know it's. I don't know if you want to get into it at all, but I know that's kind of why you moved to South Dakota, right? Is your mom
Yeah,
passed away?
in a way, well, actually, so my, you know, my grandparents lived here when they were kids, and then they moved out to like Indiana area to like find my grandpa found a job at Ford Motor Company and all that, worked there his whole time.
Hmm.
And, and so he always wanted to like build a motel and move back here. So they did that in like the early 90s when I was like a little kid, you know, 3, 4 years old. And we'd go out there here and there. But yeah, like once, you know, like we knew that all these other stuff became big issues, you know, it was kind of like time they wanted to get me out of there and
Hmm.
them get out of there. Um, you know, but there again, it was like, man, like within 2 years of that is like when she died, or less even, you know.
Wow.
And so it's just crazy stuff, man, because as a kid, you know, it's like I always lived with my grandparents. My mom would come once in a while, and of course I thought that was strange, you know. And so you know, I knew like she was addicted to drugs, but as a kid, you know, 8 years old, you don't really like comprehend that. It's just like, oh,
Right. You can't really
right.
fathom that, right?
Right. I like the last time I saw her, I asked her if she could draw me a picture of what like drugs look like. And I'm like 8 years old, you know, and like just, you know, again, shit like that. So yeah, man, like when she died, you know, being 9 years old, like again, you know, that small brain can't comprehend that, how maybe you could if you were older. It sucks no matter what age you're at, but something like that, that like it's like childhood trauma, you know. And
Oh, dude,
it sets,
totally.
it sets the whole pace for your life, man. I mean, literally, I tell people all the time, like that is a milestone that I've never gone a day without thinking about 20 years later, you know?
Right. You probably won't, you know?
Right.
I mean,
Yeah.
as hard as it is, I'm so sorry.
Oh,
That's
no, for sure.
terrible.
Appreciate that.
Um, but did you like, oh my gosh. So you're in South Dakota. I did also see that you got a drum set pretty early on.
Yep. Yep.
Going back to music real quick, but how
Yeah.
did you get into
Yeah.
music prior to that?
Um, so like right, you know, as we moved up to South Dakota, you know, my mom was still alive and stuff, but again, I knew she was an addict, didn't have much of a relationship. So we got up here. I happened to find one of my grandma's VHS tapes of an old Fleetwood Mac concert, and for the hell of it, I put that on. And this drummer, Mick Fleetwood, he when he drums, he like makes all these crazy like
Oh yeah.
I was so fascinated, you know. Then it was like a phase, got the little drum set. Few months, you know, go by, I kind of got out of it. That's when the mom thing happened. And then shortly after that, my uncle came up, and he and I were going somewhere, and he played me Ozzy Osbourne's No More Tears. And when I heard that, man, first of all, I thought the name Ozzy, I was picturing this like redheaded freak, like in that high voice, you know, and like
Yeah.
I was like, dude, you got to play that again. And he played it again, and it's like an 8-minute long song.
Oh yeah,
But just the
it's a
whole message,
beast.
yeah, the whole message of the No More Tears and just the vibe I got, like as far as music goes, started that like whole thing in life where again, 20 years later, still as obsessed as ever, you know.
Mhm. Wow, 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 wow.
Just
And
music has literally saved my life. Like that is no joke, you know.
mhm.
Yep. So
Once you started, you went from drums to what? Did you get a guitar? Like, how did your songwriting career begin?
yeah, pretty much. Once I started loving the Aussie stuff, I convinced my grandpa. We were at a pawn shop one day, and they had this little microphone and a little amp. And I convinced, I mean, they're tiny little things, but this microphone, it had 3 buttons, and one of them was like a clap, one of them was a boost. So when you were done, it would be like, yeah. I would sit in this, I would swear to you, I would sit in my basement, put like these Aussie CDs on this little speaker and act like I'm singing with them, and hit the audience afterward. And dude, it started like how you would imagine, like all innocent, just a little kid intrigued by this music stuff, you know. And
Mhm.
So yeah, I mean, just started writing little songs, usually Black Sabbath rip-offs, like Iron Man backwards and you know. And then
Isn't
yeah,
that how everyone starts? So you got to get your
yeah,
inspiration from something.
yeah, for sure. And then yeah, just like over the years, teenage years in high school, like me and my friends started a little band, and we played locally around here and started building a solid following. Like by the time I was 16, 17 years old, I was selling like 250 tickets in towns with like 5,000 people in them. So it was like
Whoa.
people were like, damn, like there's something here. And dude, like no joke, like from my first shows at like 12 years old, like shitty little open mics and stuff like that, people would like drive by my house and see me outside and be like, Kyle, like, like it was crazy, man. So everyone kind of figured that there was like some sort of natural thing from the beginning.
Mhm.
That's just what,
Well, it
however.
validated probably what you were doing and trying to do and
Oh, I
pushed
love
you to
it.
continue,
Yeah, for
right?
sure.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And
So
yeah.
so when does Blackout or when does your Blacklight District project begin? Because I know it started as a band, right?
Yeah. So it's kind of difficult to say exactly when and where, because in my mind, I started a band when I was, 15 years old, and I've just been in this same band ever since. But it's really just been me, again, I've had band members, drummers, this and that, blah, 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 over the years. In the last couple of years, like, before the pandemic, and I'll say like pretty much while I was like in active addiction, I
Mhm.
really started doing my shows like a hip hop show where it would be pretty much just me, maybe a DJ here and there, and I would just go out with tracks, but I'd play guitar, sing, rap, do the shows, have the 10-foot LED screens and this and that. Because again, man, growing up, I mean, you want that rock star thing. It's like my dream is playing arenas in front of 20,000 people and having platinum records.
Mhm.
Today in the rock world, that just doesn't happen. So, the last few years, I started adding some of this like hip hop and trap and 808s and Post Malone type shit into the music, because to me, there's just such a ceiling on hard rock. And
Mhm.
I've had some great success outside of that with YouTube and a lot of
Oh
other,
yeah, you're killing it on YouTube.
but once I got sober this year, it was like, dude, you're a fucking rock guy. Excuse the language, but
You can cuss. You can say
it's like,
whatever you want.
you're a fucking rock guy. Like, this is what you've spent your whole life doing. Why are we making rap songs now just to try to be mainstream? Like, dude, fuck all that. Like, just go in the studio, make what you think is amazing. Make what you think feels to you and is as real as it can possibly be, and the rest should come to follow. So that's basically where my new album 1990 coming out was basically me doing a total reset in life, sober. I broke my fucking hip in the beginning of the summer, so that was a bitch. I mean, dude,
Oh man, that must have been real rough, especially with the
dude,
whole
yeah. So just because you're
medication and all that stuff.
so yeah, yeah. And again, sorry if there's a delay. I'm not like trying to cut you off or nothing like
Oh
that.
no, no, no.
But so because I was so hooked on the fentanyl, going into treatment, they use a lot of medications to bring you off of it nowadays.
Mhm.
Suboxone,
Suboxone, yeah.
things like that. So at the time I was on Suboxone for, I still am, but I'm just trying to act like it's whatever it is. But no, for being on the Suboxone, that's what worked for me, because I had got clean before from opiates without any like maintenance medication. And dude, like 80 days later, I just still felt like shit. Like I never got my energy. I mean, it's bad, man.
Mhm.
So, anyways, long story short, break my hip. The ambulance comes. I was rollerblading out with my son. He has a little push scooter, and I had this pair of rollerblades. And again, just easy stuff. I knew I was gonna fall the split second, landed right on my knee, and bro, right when I hit, like I knew something bad happened, because it, like you could, like I always say, you can hear a pop. Well,
Yeah.
I didn't know I heard that at the time, but looking back, I was like, oh, that's what they.
That's what that was.
And so the ambulance gets there. The lady's like, gives me some sort of test. She's like, oh yeah, you're in excruciating pain, because like the heart thing, like the piece of paper or whatever.
Mhm.
And of course, I was like, listen, I'm like 5 months sober from opiates. I just want to let you guys know. And they're like, well, you got a broken fucking hip, basically. So we can basically look the other way if you're okay with it. And I was like, yeah, of course, because I mean, it's painful, bro. But
Mhm.
being on the Suboxone, because it's like half a blocker, it blocks out other opiates. So you're not supposed to be able to like get high on them.
Right, right.
But it's also an opioid itself, like partially. So you basically in your brain, it gives you a little to get rid of a little type thing.
Mhm.
So, anyways, they give me a shot of fentanyl because that's the only thing that'll override the Suboxone. So they do that, no pain relief. Give me another shot, no pain relief. That night in the hospital, and this happened about 6, 7 in the evening, after dinner time when I had this accident. So
Mm-hmm.
by midnight that night, the nurse finally comes in, gives me, because they were giving me fentanyl and then ketamine every other time because they didn't want to just do all opiates.
Mm-hmm.
So anyway, she comes in midnight, gives me the shot, whatever, the medication. All of a sudden, bro, no shit. I come to like 20 minutes later with 5, 6, 7 doctors around me, shaking me, doing this external heart massage. They're like, sir, sir, sir. And they're like, yeah, bro, we had to Narcan you. You went totally unresponsive, OD. So, dude, they actually OD'd me on the fentanyl in the hospital.
Oh my
Never had that
gosh.
happen before either. Like, you know what I'm saying? So it was just crazy, man.
Wow. I've never even heard of that before. That
Right.
is sketchy, right?
Dude, no shit.
These
Yeah.
are doctors and nurses that should know what they're dosing you with.
Right, right. So, but
Oh
like
man.
the thing was because they had to use, like, first of all, it was fentanyl, which is like one of the higher level
Right.
opioids. Then they had to use more than normal because they're trying to break through this medication. And they basically said because it all happened in a short amount of time, the shit just like stacks on each other. And
Mm-hmm.
before you know it, like you have way too much shit in your body.
Right,
Yes,
right, right.
they literally pushed the thing in, and dude, just like that, like just out.
Oh my gosh. And then
And
you probably don't remember anything aside from waking up.
no, nope, nothing. In fact, the only thing is that, look, I'm not a religious guy. I'm not like into ooh this and that. Like, I'm pretty straightforward. But while that was happening, I did have some sort of like experience in my mind. Like, I don't know if it was my brain hallucinating, trying to like kick back into motion or what happened, but I was like somewhere else. I'm not going to say I had like a thing, but no, I was just somewhere else. I was fully aware of what was happening, except for my hip and all that stuff. Like, that wasn't a thought in my mind. I didn't know I was in the hospital. I was just aware, and I thought I was somewhere. And then all of a sudden, it's like you come to with the doctor. So I don't know what it was.
Wow.
But dude, I swear to you, bro, like, this is no joke. For me and how I am, like, if you knew me personally, I would not say shit like that just to say.
Right.
But yeah, I have no idea what it was. I was just conscious and aware, and I was somewhere else, and I felt like I was like moving up this thing, and I feel like I could see like these two people sitting at a table, and it was just weird, man.
Wow.
Yeah. So
Wow. 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 Well, I'm glad that they were able to catch that quick enough and obviously
yeah,
bring you
no
back.
shit.
And oh man, that's a lot.
Yeah.
Wow. 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 When you started first putting out records with Blacklite District, that was what year? Like 2013 ish?
Yeah, I'd say so, right around there. That year, I had this song called "Wit." Now, again, if someone that's not familiar with me is like looking at my catalog, like on Spotify or something, and then looking at what I've released, there might be differences because there have been albums and projects that have like come down or that have
Mhm.
been merged together. So basically, right now I have two albums. One is called Instant Concern, which was actually two albums, one called Instant Gratification and To Whom It May Concern, put
Mhm.
together. And then another album called You're Welcome, which I did last year, which is another couple albums. But yeah, man, right around that 2013 is when I first started releasing music. Had a pretty good sized hit that year on Sirius XM Octane. Big
Yeah, that song did really well.
Yeah, With Me Now it was back in the day. And
Mhm.
yeah, man, that was kind of the launch of like the traditional music success, like in the rock radio world. Um, and that's kind of how that all started. But yeah, pretty much right around then.
With that hit, like having that song go so well, how did that change like your live shows or like that were people like at that point was it like, you know, a lot of more people are showing up? Are you getting
Oh
like tour
yeah.
offers and
Well, the cool thing was is that like right before this, like I pretty much didn't have shit going on aside from a local thing around here. I had
right.
moved to LA. I did get like a management deal in Orlando, Florida, and I was traveling a little bit, like working with producers and stuff, but there was really no like success there, no snowball rolling down the hill yet. So yeah, once that happened, and again, like with Sirius XM, because it's a national outlet,
Mhm.
the second you get on there, it's like you're getting national attention pretty much right out of the gate.
Right.
So literally overnight, I went from being a local artist to a nationally known artist
Known
on that
person.
radio, you know? But again, it's not like what you think where all of a sudden, oh, I was rich after that and playing to 20,000. Like, no,
Right.
it's still the same. I was still going out and playing shitty concerts. It's just a few more people happen to know my music and shit. You know?
Right, right,
Yeah.
right.
Yeah,
Okay.
pretty much like what you'd expect, you know?
That's cool though. That
Yeah,
must have been a
dude.
big moment for you.
Yeah, dude. I mean, again, you know, growing up, loving music, having the passion for it, and to be in my early 20s and like have my first top 40 single on the charts from this and be like, wow, like radio stations I grew up listening to are playing me. It's pretty fucking awesome, man, for
That
sure.
is, that
Still to this
is.
day. Dude, when I go out in the car and occasionally like on Sirius XM Octane, they'll play something of mine. Still, even after being on there for like 7, 8 years consistently, still fucking awesome, bro.
Oh yeah. Oh
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, for
I
sure.
can imagine that's still cool. Like, oh, and then there's my
Yeah,
song.
dude.
In the
Oh,
midst of like between whatever two huge
yeah,
artists. Like
especially when you got some of the homies in the car. So everyone's like, dude, what the it's cool, man. It's cool shit, you know.
I'm sure that never gets old. That's so
Dude,
rad.
I hope no, but I hope it never will, bro. I'll be 50 years old, dude, like telling my grandparents, oh shit, look what's
Yeah.
up. You know? Yeah, no,
Yeah.
it's
So
cool.
cool. So after that song or the success of that song, did that take you what, a couple of years? Were you able to tour and, you know, kind
Yep.
of ride that wave? And then what was the next little milestone or whatever to happen for you?
So after that, I did my first tour opening for Saving Abel, which was like my first time opening for a national act. So that was cool. Did a couple of those. Tried to do another single, but then it was pretty much time. So okay, I guess I should throw this in there. When I mentioned earlier, I had like a management deal and record deal I got down in Orlando, Florida.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so basically, once I had the success with that first song, I started getting a lot of managers and labels interested, you know, because I was generating revenue, I was getting this airplay that's so, you know, like what do they call like, you know, it's hard to achieve, like
Oh yeah.
basically, you know.
Yeah, there's so many gatekeepers. I mean, I come
Exactly.
from radio, man. I did radio
Oh,
for
really?
15 years, so I know
Okay.
exactly how
Yeah.
that all kind of works.
And
So,
you know how that game works for sure.
yeah, it's an
So
interesting one.
oh yeah, definitely. I've learned a lot though, you know, doing it. But yeah, so I started getting interest, and at the time, my manager was like butthurt over that, was like offended that other people were offering me money. When I thought he'd be happy, he'd be like, dude. But it all turned out it was because in the management deal, it was actually I was signed to his record label, like sneak. It was like snuck in there. I didn't
Mhm.
have a lawyer look at it. I was a kid. He had just gotten me on Octane. I was like, dude, I'll sign any fucking deal you want.
Right, of course.
It ended up costing me a lot of money. I never got, I mean, it was just it was a catastrophic fuck up, I'll say. But
Mhm.
because of something like that, led me to being even more passionate, more hungry, having a little bit more knowledge to where, yeah, it led up to, I have a song in 2017 called Cold as Ice that I put out. And that was
Mhm.
kind of like the first follow up from this first hit. And the first couple of months, it was like shit, man. It did like 30,000 views on YouTube in 3 months. And I was like, damn, like that is nowhere near the million views I just did, you know?
Mhm.
And, but a couple months later, you know, I saw some of these anime videos on YouTube started using the song in these like clips they put together. And all of a sudden I saw one that had a million views and I was like, damn, like, look at this. So I reached out to the channel who posted the video. And I was like, look, I know you don't know me, but you used one of my songs here. It got a million views. Why don't we partner up? I'll send you music. You know, it's quality music. You don't have to worry about the copyright claims and all that.
Mhm.
Blah, blah, blah. You can use it on your channel. So I supply the music, you supply the audience. We'll split the revenue 50-50. And dude, that's what we did. I got a Minecraft channel. Dude, we put out this Cold as Ice Minecraft video. The first week, it does 3.5 million views, gets to like number 22 trending on YouTube. And all of a sudden, it takes my music video to a million views within like a week. And dude,
Oh,
so
wow.
there again, because of that, that's when Sirius XM Octane added this new song. All of a sudden, all the radio shit came back in. The song went on the charts. And bro, I've been riding this wave for like 5 years now.
That is
Oh yeah,
incredible. That
dude.
must have been life-changing, right? To see those
Oh,
numbers come through.
dude, for real, man. Totally in the last 3 years has been a complete life change for me. Like, no joke. I mean, from dude, like 15 years making like maybe $800 a month if I was lucky, to
Uh-huh.
where, you know, without sounding like an asshole, I mean, this music can generate 30, 40K a month, you know? So like, dude, from a guy sitting in a basement in Spearfish, South Dakota, it's fucking life changing money, bro.
Oh, dude. For anyone that's life-changing.
Yeah, for sure.
Oh,
So
man.
so
I don't
again, fortunately I've been able to keep the music coming, have some hits with the, but again, I think what I credit is I have a little bit of the radio and traditional stuff, but things like Minecraft and anime on YouTube, these more like outside the box promotional things have really been like a home run for me.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
And
so
it also really helped your own personal YouTube page.
oh yeah. Yeah, I'm about right now, I'm about to hit 200,000 subscribers on there, man. Like,
Congratulations.
let
That's
me show you,
massive.
bro. I'm sorry, man. Hold on. But look, bro, just to get something like this.
Oh,
Dude,
oh, you have the silver button.
dude, it's so fucking special, man. I feel like I worked so hard to get
That is
that.
so cool. Dude,
Dude,
I'm a weirdo and I believe in vision boards and I become more
my wife does that.
and I have been more like I actually interviewed an artist a few years back. His name is Slushy, and now he's like the right hand man to Marshmello and all the
Oh,
EDM
no,
world. And
really?
he told me, yeah, and he told me he's like, dude, I had a vision board and I put these people and this on it, and it all happened. Like, and I was like,
Oh,
dude, I'm stealing that idea. And I have a silver button. I'm not near 100 and even close to 100,000, but I got a couple thousand follow or subscribers,
yeah,
and that's my dream, dude, to get one of those.
dude.
That's so cool.
Dude, that is so awesome to hear, man. And like I said, dude, my wife's like, again, when I was in treatment, and my wife's very into that type of stuff. So I've done a lot of vision boards. But yeah, man, to me, it almost felt like this is like a modern day, like gold or platinum record. Like, because that doesn't happen so often anymore.
Oh yeah, it never does.
I kind of feel like this gives me a little of like that accolade of success for the music, you know?
I think that's more important, dude, to be honest.
Dude,
I mean, if you're looking at it like revenue wise, I mean,
yep,
come on now.
yep. And again, so from 2013, that song back then got me like 5,000 subscribers on YouTube. So then 5 years later, it was still around the 5K mark. When we did the first Minecraft video, I had barely under 6,000 subscribers 2.5 years ago, 3 years ago, whatever it was. So all of a sudden, over the first 2 years, got to the 100K. And now, bro, like a year later, I'm almost fucking double it now, 192K as of today. So, dude, I mean,
So rad.
man, you know, maybe I'll
Uh-huh.
be at 1 million in 5 years. You never know.
You'll get 1 million next time we talk when you're in Nashville.
Yeah, bro. Right, for sure. Yeah.
That's so cool, man. Congratulations.
Oh,
That
thank
is so
you, bro.
cool. I have yet to interview somebody that actually has one of those for
Oh,
YouTube.
right, right.
Or
Yeah.
maybe they do and I just haven't seen it. So that's cool to see it in
You'd be
person.
surprised though, man. It's at least like, I don't know, I'm sure you interview all types of people, but like at least in the hard rock world,
Not many,
hard to
man.
get, man. Yeah,
Not many people have it.
right.
Was it hard? I mean, having, addiction in your life and you're getting now, you said 30, 40K a month. I mean, I can imagine that being very hard not to really go off the wagon. And I can see myself like, wow. Like I heard somebody in a meeting once say like, if I made blah, blah, blah a month, like, I don't know if I'd be in this room anymore. And I'm thinking like, well, that's not a very good outlook to have. But I mean, I would imagine it opens up quite a few more doors.
Well, I think that's why I went off the rails in the first place, honestly, is because last year, so I had this song called Falling, and on Sirius XM, there's a channel called The Pulse, which is like pop. So
Oh,
it's
I
like,
love the Pulse, dude.
dude, and they added one of my songs on there, and I was
Did
like,
they
"Holy
really?
fuck." Yeah, I was like, "Dude, I'm
Wow.
gonna be played next to like Taylor Swift and Post Malone and shit. Like to me,
Yeah.
that was like next level, bro. I was like,
Oh,
oh my God.
cracking top 40 is like ultimate game changer.
Yeah, man. So I find out because again, because of a Minecraft video last year. So this Minecraft video got to #3 trending on YouTube, did like over 1 million views the first 24 hours. So of course that shot the song into the top 30 on or top 10 on Apple Music in 30 countries, like all this shit. So of course Sirius XM The Pulse comes on. And again, bro, revenues coming in. I'm like, holy shit, I'm almost gonna be a top 40 on the pop charts, like with these mega stars. So before I used like my parents' death and all these like traumatic events as like an excuse to like get high and shit. Whereas last year was the opposite. It was like, holy fuck, I'm doing so good. You know, the Play Award, the Pulse, like all the shit. Dude, we should be celebrating this. So that was when I was like, let's get some pills. Just me. I mean, I'm not talking to anyone. I sit here by myself. So yeah,
Right.
I started hitting the fucking fentanyl again out of nowhere just because I wanted to party and have fun. And again, start with 1, 2 a day maybe, and by the end of the year, like I said, 40 a day, no fucking joke, bro.
That's so, yeah.
But yeah, like you
Yeah, it's
said,
the addict mind, man.
yeah,
I
man.
hear that and I'm like, Well, yeah, you have success, so of course you want to try to figure out some way to, to knock
Yeah.
yourself
It's
down,
like,
right?
dude, we're doing so good. Everyone's so happy. Like, what the fuck? Let's have
Like,
some fun.
everyone's too happy. Let's screw this up.
Yeah, exactly. That's what they say in treatment. They're like, dude, you are like a master of self-sabotage for yourself.
Right. Of course.
Yeah, yeah.
It's just like it all comes together with the same mindsets, right?
Right, right, dude, exactly, man. Crazy
Well,
shit, bro, but yeah.
so wow. So okay, now you got the gold button or the silver button. You're doing a killer on YouTube. Songs are doing amazing. And then where does the pandemic lie? And are you still playing a bunch of shows at this point? Or are you kind of just sticking to the YouTube
Pretty much,
DSP
man.
world?
I mean, so that's actually a great question because, again, growing up, I was taught that in this day and age, like the only way to make your money is going on tour and playing these
Hmm.
shows and stuff. And so, yeah, like 2013, 14, those first few years there, I mean, I was on the road as much as possible, but then again, there's not a lot of revenue coming in from the recorded music because at the time that seemed like that happened like 40 years ago and it'll never happen again.
Hmm.
But again, like with the streaming and again, I credit YouTube and Minecraft for being a hell of a career launcher. But yeah, man, I mean, at that time, because of all the shit that was going on, I mean, I was making more money sitting at home on my couch than I was going out and playing shows. I was
Right.
I was really just going on tour if it was like a solid support slot where I was opening for someone. So I knew it was going to be a packed house. So there's a band called Adelita's Way. They've had a bunch of rock hits over the
Hmm.
years.
I know
And
the name.
yep, and I went out with them like 4 times from 2019 to 2020. But yeah, man, so that was the thing. The pandemic hits, everything's canceled. And man, a lot of friends and people I've known over the years like were hit hard with that shit, bro. Because again, a lot of people make their main money on the road.
Hmm.
Um, and I always at the time felt like such an asshole. But for me, bro, 2020 was like my biggest year ever. Sitting at
Yeah.
home with the pandemic, I made like double the revenue I ever made, had double the listeners. Like it was fucking crazy, bro. You know?
Well, because that's the beauty of YouTube and in having, passive income in this way, right? I mean, you could sit around at your house, and because you're following so massive, it's that's yeah. If yeah, it's interesting that a lot of artists and musicians don't try to push that route, right?
Right.
You'd think like, okay, this is a way to make money without leaving the house.
Right. In
But
a
it's
way,
not easy,
no,
obviously.
for
But I
sure.
mean, if you're, yeah.
I guess I always look at it like I'm so passionate for the music and I love it. Like, even if I had no success and I had to work a regular 9 to 5 job, I'd probably still come home and write songs and have fun and do that. So, in a way, like I used to joke with my friends, it's like, dude, I'm basically getting paid to be me because I'd be doing this shit for free anyway. So, the fact that I'm sitting here doing some shit I'd already be doing and already have been doing, except for now I get like a lawyer's salary out of it. It's like, fuck, dude. And, and again, I'm not trying to sound like that so much, like it,
But
but
you're
you get
not.
where I'm
It's
coming
like
from. Like,
it's
yeah,
the truth, man. You can't just you're not gonna. There's no reason to like sugarcoat it,
dude,
right?
I'm just
It's
so
just
fucking grateful and happy and excited. Like, dude, this shit keeps me going, bro. So, and again, I like to tell it too, especially when I'm talking to other musicians, because I like that it shows to other people that look, there are other ways to make this shit work. If you can't, catch a wave like on the road or on the
mhm.
radio or something, like, dude, there are ways. Because the only reason I got this Minecraft stuff is because I had no more budget. And it was like, bro, how am I going to get my music in front of as many people as possible without having to spend a dime on it? That was like the oh fuck moment. Like, shit, that doesn't sound easy.
Mhm.
Ended up being the best thing I've ever done.
So amazing. And were you writing during the pandemic? Like, where were you right before it happened?
Yep. No, I had just like that song I mentioned a little bit ago, Falling. That was like my pop single on the Pulse and stuff.
Mhm.
That came out in February of 2020. So I had kind of this album planned, which this album, You're Welcome, ended up coming out July 2020. And
Mhm.
I was just putting out singles. The plan was to just do a single every couple months, but because of the pandemic, I decided to turn it into an album release. I ended up doing like 10 singles anyway over the year. It then dropped the album. So yeah, man. But again, fortunately, I don't know if you can see too well, but I have a whole studio it's kind of dark over here, but I'm in my studio room right now. So I do a lot of
Oh,
recording
cool.
here. So the fact that I could just work in here and do all my shit, like it didn't cause me any issues. In fact, I actually preferred not being bothered. you know,
Right.
stopping over and this and that. Get the fuck out of here. You
So you
know,
just did it. Do you record everything yourself, or do you send it out to producers, or?
a little bit of both. The last few, like the last album, I pretty much produced, mixed, like wrote everything myself. Occasionally, I have a few producers, as in beat makers, that'll send me some beats and stuff. But this new album that I just did, when I said I went to Nashville, I have a producer there named Brett Hessel. Do you remember Creed, the band?
Oh yeah.
So he was the bass player for Creed for a long time, and he had his own other bands that have some success, and he's like a big platinum producer. So he actually recorded this first 2013 song we were talking about way earlier when I had
Oh,
it. So again, you know, over the last few years, I kind of switched a little bit more hip hop, a little bit more pop, producing myself. So after I got sober, broke my hip, you know, I was stuck in the recliner for 3 months playing acoustic guitar. And basically, I just started writing songs like I used to when I was a kid, like making rock music, you know. And dude, I think like getting sober, like kind of cleared my brain out a bit to be like, dude, what
mhm.
the fuck you doing? Like, just do what you're good at. You make rock music. So what if it's not mainstream? Like, get over it. Like, you'd be lucky you have what you have, you know?
Mhm.
And it's like, I got to tell myself this. So yeah, I was like, you know what? I'm going to take this full circle. I'm sober. I'm, you know, going back to my rock roots. So I went back to the producer that started it all with me, and we made this new album, 1990. And dude, I am so fucking excited.
That is so awesome, and I love that. What?
I was just going to say it comes out December 31st.
I was just gonna say that, and you have it coming out on New Year's Eve, which is
Yeah.
awesome.
Yes.
Any
Well, it's
reason
called
why you just?
1990. So I figured if we're calling it a year, we may as well have it on New Year's Eve as 1990. That's kind of how I looked at it.
I
But
like it.
the reason I went with the 1990 is the title. That's the year I was born.
Mhm.
But because of the sobriety, because of all the changes, the musical style, I wanted to make this kind of like a reset in life, like a total reset. So here it is in a way. I feel like this is almost like the first album. So yeah, it's 1990. This is my reset. It's upward from here, man. And I just wanted to tell you, as of today, I just saw right before I came on here, my single is called Gotta Get Out of Here from this upcoming album. Just hit number 16 today on the Billboard Mainstream Rock chart, which is my highest charting single ever on the Billboard chart. So it's fucking
Congratulations! That is so
yeah,
awesome. That
exclusive,
is
right?
so awesome.
Dude, hell yeah, man.
That is awesome. What are your plans for the record? Are you gonna tour, or is it like why?
Yeah. Yeah, no, that why, trust me, is always the first question there. But you know, man, like honestly, like at the end of the day, I love to play music. That's why I
Mhm.
did all this shit in the first place. So I'm definitely gonna go on tour. I'm working on a couple right now. Me and my agent, my team, you know, I got a whole team I have to shout out that makes a lot of this stuff happen. So I'm definitely gonna go on the road, man, looking at some big festivals, a couple great tour spots. And yeah, man, just I just want to get this album out there and go promote it. And you know, like the traditional thing, I just want to get the music out there this time, you know.
I
So
love it.
again, bro, like coming on your show here, like every one of these that I do is a big support. So I can't again thank you enough for having me on and let me fucking blab this whole time, you know.
Oh no, dude, I love it. I love your story. It's such a cool, like full circle, you know,
Yeah.
to go from an addict and everything that you went through to like OD, the doctors ODing you after you had already been sober for a while.
Right.
Like, I mean, what a story. And to have the success you have and the silver button, which I'm so jealous of. And
Gotta get you one of these sometime.
yeah, that's so cool. You recorded the record in Murfreesboro or Nashville,
Yep.
and that was because he lives there or his studio's there.
Yep.
Is that
Well,
kind of
he
what?
used to be from Florida. So like
Mhm.
I mentioned earlier on, I went to LA, then down to Florida, and I did my first album. So he was down there, where my manager and stuff was at the time. But yeah, he moved up to, I say Nashville because that's what he always said. But
Oh
it's
yeah, nobody would know if you're like, oh,
right,
Murfreesboro, unless you
right,
lived
right.
here, knew you
Yeah.
wouldn't have any clue what the hell someone was
So
talking about.
yeah, no, he moved there a couple years ago, and I knew that. So yeah, I pretty much knew. But he used to have a big like studio space that he had, where now him and his wife bought a house, and it's I don't know what they call it, but there's almost like a separate part of the house. Like it's kind of connected still, but it's like anyways, he has a studio in his house, so I go down there and like I said, I'm gonna actually be going back in February because I'm doing the deluxe version of this album for the summertime, and I'm doing some acoustic shit for that.
Rad.
And then in the summer, I'll be back down there for probably 3 weeks to do the next album and stuff. So, like I said, bro, like just between you and me or anyone who's watching, like I've really enjoyed this. Like, I think your style of interviewing, like you, I know just letting me talk, but dude, I just like this. I hope we can do more in the future, man.
Oh
Seriously.
no, yeah, we're doing this in person. Like
Dude,
it's
please.
already done.
Yeah, sure,
It's
man.
it's
Dude, you can even
done.
come out to the studio if you want, meet
Oh,
Brett, and I mean, whatever you want to do, man. I'm down for anything. So.
so am I. I am down too. We used to do all these in person
Oh, really?
until COVID. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
So once that happened, actually, I don't think I've done an in-person interview. I haven't since the like when coronavirus was like the thing, and it was like
Oh, yeah.
people are kind of getting worried. It wasn't quite like
Right.
shutting down. The last person I interviewed was G Love. He played a show in San Diego, and it was weird because it was like people knew what was going on to the point where he came into the room and it was like, elbowy
Oh, yeah.
fives,
Right.
and we were kind of joking about it because he's like, oh, like, what's going on? Like he kind of was like, oh, are we gonna do the interview here or whatever? And I was like, yeah. And we kind of made a joke about the virus, like, oh yeah, just go talk to these people. They don't have coronavirus. Then it was like the next week everything closed down. So I was like, I
Right.
felt
Right.
bad. It was in poor taste at the time, but it was like so weird because nobody understood
Right.
what was
Dude, for real.
happening.
Well, yeah, I was about to go out with Adelita's Way again. It was like the middle of March, like when shit was like really starting to shut down. And one of the guys from that camp, he was just against stopping. He was like, dude, fuck this. We're going out. I don't care if they're shutting down. Let's go play. Like, shit, dude, I don't think so, bro. Like, my wife doesn't want me to go.
Yeah.
Obviously, all the shit got canceled anyway.
Right, right, right. Well,
Have you, if you don't mind me asking you this, bro,
no.
have you ever watched like Zane Lowe? Do you know who he is?
Yes,
He does
I
those
do.
Apple Music interviews and
Hmm.
stuff like that.
Yeah, he's one of the biggest people on
Yeah,
in the
that,
music
that's kind
interview
of the
world.
vibe I get from you. I just wanted to throw that out there. Like, I get that's why I asked you if, like, when I come down to that area, like, dude, I have my film crew and all this. Like, I would love to do a real like video interview, like for my YouTube channel and shit, like the real thing. If you're
Dude.
into that, you could
Oh
be,
my gosh, dude, that would be an honor.
dude. We should talk, man. We should like
Uh,
stay in touch from here because I'm gonna be down there, like I said.
okay, well, when I only have one more question for you, and then I want to stop this recording and I want to chat with you.
Yeah,
That's
for
cool.
sure. Sure, absolutely.
Back to the no. I want to know if you have any advice for aspiring artists.
What I tell everybody, because I do get asked this a lot, and I'm fortunate that a big part of my fan base is young teenagers, 14, 13, 15. It's crazy to see that because typically you don't get that being rock,
Hmm.
hard rock. But again, because of the Minecraft and anime world that I've gotten the success in, it's a lot of kids. So I have a lot of kids and parents and anybody say, like, hey, what would it be? And I used to want to know that too, but it's just like the industry changes so much all the time, from CDs to downloads to streaming. I mean, that's three different like main revenue makers right there. So you're already having, so first of all, I'd say be quick to adapt to change. Like, learn how to, even if it's not what you want it to be, like try to go in that world and find the best you can make out of it from a business standpoint. As far as an artistic standpoint, I tell everybody, learn to write music, keep writing music, and always write it as real and from your true self as you can, even if it's like cringe worthy to, you'd be like, oh, I don't want to say that or put that out there. But it's like, you never know who's listening and who really needs to hear that shit. So keep it as real as possible and keep trying over and over.